Yeah, maybe Islam looking for more suitable, more convenient opponent for him. I believe I'm the most inconvenient, hardest fight for him in the division. I'm undefeated for a reason. I believe I can beat anyone in the division. But as Islam said, whatever UFC decides, and I believe he's gonna accept the fight. So if UFC is gonna decide I'm next, I'm not gonna miss this opportunity. I'm gonna take this fight.
Imagine the spirit of a warrior, a spirit that for centuries roamed the endless steppe, hardened by brutal winds, and taught the true price of battle the hard way.
Oh! Spin kick sets him down.
He's gone! His legs have gone!
He's out.
Wow!
That very spirit now lives in one of the most frightening and technically gifted fighters of our era. His name is Shavkat Rakhmonov. His nickname is Nomad, and to this day, he has never tasted defeat.
Shavkat Rakhmonov. That man gives me chills.
Hit the like button on this video, and meanwhile, we'll walk you through the career of one of the most dangerous welterweights in the world's best promotion.
That Chinese-looking Russian, Shavkat.
Oh, Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Oh, my mother.
He's the most under-the-radar guy ever. He's the most under-the-radar guy ever because everybody's avoiding him, and he doesn't have a big name yet, but he should.
His story doesn't start in a fancy gym. It starts in a small Uzbek town called Shurchi, a childhood marked by hardship, where the future title contender learned early what it means to fight for your place under the sun. That's where his character started hardening like steel from a young age. Over time, he moved to Kazakhstan. He lived in Karaganda, worked as a loader, and in the evenings, after exhausting workdays, he still found the strength to go and learn the basics of martial arts. Only a warrior to the core, with a clear goal in his head, can make those kinds of sacrifices without sparing his body, his time, or himself. Shavkat never looked for easy paths. His arsenal is built from ancient traditions and modern tools, kurash, sambo, and boxing. He soaked up everything like a sponge, only to unleash his own flawless winning formula inside the octagon later. And when the time came, the Nomad set out on his journey. His professional debut was both a sign and a warning. A new star had just risen in the MMA sky. This happened on October 17, 2014, at M1 Challenge 52. His opponent was Adam Tsurov. The prospect from Ingushetia was no rookie, especially compared to the debuting Rakhmonov, but he still couldn't surprise Shavkat with anything meaningful. The thing is, the Kazakh fighter had such a strong base that it completely neutralized everything Tsurov tried to do.
But it's Adam that picks the arm is in, but it looks quite tight in.
Several takedowns from Adam turned against him. Nomad did everything to drain his gas tank. He tied up his arms, made him work hard for position on the ground, threatened with guillotines. In short, he did everything in a very deliberate way, just to squeeze as much life out of him as possible. At a certain point, Shavkat realized his opponent wouldn't survive the first round.
He's on side and not in guard because he's caught the guillotine again. Well, got one arm on the guillotine.
All that was left was to finish the job like a true professional, and that's exactly what he did when they ended up on the mat again.
Adam's had the double unders. Nice balance there by Shavkat.
Shavkat locked his legs tight around Adam's neck, closed the triangle and forced him to tap. Just like that, he burst into the world of professional fighting with authority.
Fairness there. Shavkat, he's got him. He taps. That was one.
After that, our hero fought again a month and a half later, on November 30th. It was a local event called Battle of the Nomads under the Kazakhstan MMA Federation. His opponent was Marcus Vinicius. After feeling each other out in a few head-on exchanges, both standing and on the ground, they got a good read on one another. Pros at that level only need a couple of minutes of full contact interaction to understand someone's best and worst qualities. The only problem for the Brazilian was that he quickly realized he didn't have anything that could actually stop the threat in front of him. Shavkat, on the other hand, knew very well that the ground was his territory. So toward the end of the first round, he worked like a Swiss watch. Took a dominant position, pinned Vinicius to the canvas, and forced the ref to jump in and stop the beating. That's how Shavkat opened his pro career with 2 finishes in a row. In May 2015, Rakhmonov became part of M1 Challenge 57. He shared the ring with a Polish fighter named Bartosz Chirek. In this fight, the 19-year-old prospect from Kazakhstan showed incredible conditioning, mental toughness, and a deep understanding of how mixed martial arts work. He knew he needed to use his opponent's explosive power against him, not rush things, and, most importantly, believe in his own abilities, and that's exactly what he did. Shavkat gradually drained the Pole's cardio by tying him up on the ground, allowing himself to be taken down, and then forcing Bartosz to work non-stop from the bottom or in scrambles. By the middle of the first round, Nomad did what he was supposed to. He pounded his prey until the lights went out. Bartosz never expected that a kid who wasn't even 20 yet would be such a complete specialist at combining all aspects of MMA.
Quick finish tonight, and an impressive performance by...
He found out the hard way and learned a very valuable lesson. The next head the Nomad went hunting for belonged to Mikhail Vincek. They met in July at M1 Challenge 59. There isn't even much to break down here. It ended in under a minute. Rakhmonov started fast, attacked on the feet, forced Vincek to shoot for a takedown, and from there followed his usual script: confuse him, distract his attention, and lock in a tight guillotine around his neck. In less than 10 seconds, Vincek was tapping, gifting the prospect his 4th straight finish to start his career.
Shavkat продолжает свой натиск, и вот уже сверху, однако отдает он шею. На удушающий прием растягивает корпус и сдача. И сдача. Победу одерживает Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Soon after that, there was a bit of a break. Shavkat didn't fight or appear anywhere until April 2016. Only in the spring did he decide to step back into the spotlight to show what he'd learned over that long stretch. He was met by Adil Boranbayev in the main event of Battle of the Nomad 7. This was a big moment for our hero, so he had no intention of giving an inch, or even allowing himself to imagine losing. But his opponent turned out to be a tough nut to crack. To spoil it right away, this fight went past the first round and lasted all the way to the final 10 seconds of the second. It was a tense war because Shavkat's fellow countryman was just as determined, confident, and no stranger to real combat. But even in such a close fight, the advantage, though not huge, was still on Rakhmonov's side. He knew the ground was his home, his fortress, his main trump card that would eventually decide everything. And that's exactly what happened at the end of the round, when Nomad switched from ground and pound to a choke and forced Adil to tap under the roar of the crowd. In June, Shavkat took advantage of the opportunity to go to Azerbaijan and fight Marcelo Brito. That's exactly what he did. Only we didn't really get to see a fight in the full sense. Everything happened too fast, too explosively, and, with all due respect to Marcelo, too easily.
Without even considering this person's
Oh, big right hand! Oh!
Nice stroll.
Rakhmonov didn't even have to break a sweat. When the clock hit around the 90-second mark, the Nomad landed a perfectly placed body shot that sent Brito into a brutal knockout. Just imagine the power in a 20-year-old's hands if a single shot to the body can fold a grown man in half like that. On August 17th, Battle of the Nomads arrived in South Korea. The Kazakhstan MMA Federation matched one of its brightest talents with local fighter Park Jun-young. At first, it looked like we were in for a long and competitive scrap.
어. 그렇죠. 끌어내려야죠, 박준영은.
The South Korean athlete became only the second man, after Boranbayev, to survive the first round with Rakhmonov and give him some resistance. But don't get too excited. In the first half of the second round, it all ended on Shavkat's terms. He put Park on his back, took a comfortable position on his back, wrapped up the neck, and forced the tap with a rear naked choke. That made it 7-0. All finishers. Who else can brag about stats like that at 20 years old, just 2 years into a pro career? Shavkat's 8th professional fight took place on February 9, 2018. He fought in St. Petersburg, sharing the ring with Levan Solodovnik. After a long 18-month layoff, the reasons for which neither we nor the public truly know, Nomad returned better than ever. He tasted what it means to come back to his natural environment in every sense of the word. This fight went almost all the way to the end of the second round, and along the way, it was incredibly competitive and action-packed. It was a dynamic fight that hooked real connoisseurs of MMA, with clean skills being shown in every area of the game. The crowd couldn't look away, because the finish could come at any second. And of course, we're talking about a finish from Rakhmonov, not from Levan. As tough as Solodovnik was, Shavkat was still a level or two above him. He never let him breathe on the ground and kept him mentally on high alert every second. And how did it end, you ask? With a triangle choke, of course. No matter how long Solodovnik tried to endure, his will eventually broke, and he raised the white flag, tapping to our hero. On May 12th came one of the most important and possibly defining moments in Shavkat's career. He was offered a title fight for the GMAF Welterweight belt at Battle of the Nomads 10 in Almaty. His opponent was Faridun Odilov. In many ways, this fight became a turning point for Rakhmonov, not just because of the responsibility that always comes with title fights, but because it tested his durability, willpower, and character on a completely new level. Up to a certain moment, many well-known fighters might not admit it, but they all understand one thing deep down. Thinking you can get through anything and knowing it are two different things. You can convince yourself you're ready to survive any situation in the cage, but it doesn't mean anything until you actually end up in a truly critical moment. And that's exactly where the Kazakh Nomad found himself. At the end of the second round, Odilov dropped him with a heavy knockdown. The crowd held its breath. Would he make it? Would he find the strength to continue? What if he breaks now and lets his team down? But Rakhmonov didn't fold. He survived an absolutely brutal moment, refused to back down, and more than that, he recovered, pushed through Odilov's pressure, took back the momentum, and stopped him with a TKO in the third round. This remains one of Shavkat's most telling performances to this day, because it proved once and for all that he has a real backbone. From that moment on, he stopped looking like just a prospect. It was time for serious business. On December 8th, he walked out to make his first title defense against Rinat Sayakbayev. Overall, it was a calm, controlled, almost business-as-usual fight. The champion systematically outworked the challenger, beat him up, and sent him home in the first round. Just another day at the office. Holding the Battle of the Nomads belt, Shavkat then got an offer to go after M1 Global Gold. He faced Daniel Prikaza on March 30th, 2019. The first round started fast. No point denying that. Both men threw all kinds of kicks, combinations, and whatever else might have an effect in the striking. Knowing they were still fresh early, both went all in trying to claim the real estate in the ring. Prikaza looked good, credit where it's due, but the more polished and effective work came from the Kazakh. Midway through the round, Shavkat trapped him against the ropes and fired off some nasty knees to the body, causing serious discomfort. Daniel tried everything he could to answer back and stay competitive, but it just wasn't enough. In round 2, Rakhmonov cranked the pace up even more. Without hesitation, he took the fight to the ground. Once in his element, he went to work, breaking Prikaza down piece by piece. You can imagine how that turned out. It didn't take long before Prikaza was in a terrible position, and Shavkat simply pounded him into a semi-conscious state and forced the stoppage. 11th career win, 6th by TKO. Another belt over his shoulder. What more could you want? I want to thank everyone who's here, all the Kazakhs, our president. Thank you. I'll keep moving forward. I'll keep raising our flag on the world stage. May Allah grant us health. On June 28th, the Nomad walked into the arena in Nur Sultan for his first M1 title defense against Thiago Varejão. You know how the old saying goes in combat sports. Winning the belt is one thing, keeping it is another. Yes, it's a lifelong dream for most fighters, and many never even get a title shot. But reaching the title fight and winning it is still the simpler part. The real nightmare begins after you become champion. Every hungry contender now has your name circled. You become target number one. That's why fighters who consistently defend their belts are on a completely different level of greatness than those who win once and lose it right away. Where are we going with this? To the simple fact that long before he joined the UFC, Shavkat Rakhmonov had already built up so much experience and skill that he deserved to be seen as part of that higher caste. And he confirmed that with his actions. Thiago couldn't handle him, no surprise there. Nomad crushed him brutally, picked up his 12th straight win, and once again, did it inside the distance. Who else at his age could boast a resume like that? Wherever we go, we raise the Kazakh flag, and I'm proud of that. Thanks to everyone who helped me prepare for this fight. To my coach, to everyone who helped, thank you very much. A man with 12 wins, 0 losses, all finishes, and 2 local titles back home. No self-respecting matchmaker in the world could ignore that kind of talent, so UFC representatives reached out to Shavkat Rakhmonov's management to discuss a deal. Nomad's arrival in the world's best league felt like the emergence of a new force. If he could pass a serious test in his debut and stop a seasoned Brazilian like Alex Oliveira, it would signal the dawn of a new era in the welterweight division, and that's exactly how it played out. At the end of the first round, Rakhmonov locked in a tight guillotine and forced Oliveira to tap, punching his ticket into the UFC elite. As the commentators said that night, remember his name.
Guillotine is my move. He made a mistake and I capitalized on it. You know, I have certain finishes. I have finished all my fight. You know, it's my goal to make an exciting fight as possible for all the fans watching.
In June 2021, Shavkat got the name of another Brazilian, this time Michel Prazeres, for a summer fight night. Second round, rear naked choke, minimal resistance from Prazeres, maximal dominance from Nomad. No extra words needed.
You know, it's my first 2 fights in UFC, and I'm facing really tough UFC veterans with multiple wins in UFC. I'm not fighting fellow debutants, and I believe I'm showing my level. You know, people maybe not gonna wanna admit it, but I'm showing that I'm level above, and I'm gonna continue to keep doing it.
Next, they fed him Carlston Harris from Guyana. Rakhmonov stepped into the cage in February 2022, hunting for a performance of the night bonus and his 15th win. Think he turned this one into a grappling clinic? Not at all. He took home the bonus for a spectacular knockout. First, a spinning kick to the head, then a ruthless follow-up until the ref stepped in.
So absolutely, he is a hard opponent, and he have 2 wins also. And I tried to do all my best, but you know, when you prepare so hard as me, it means like in the best gyms in the world with the tough sparring partners. So I know that I'll a bit better than him. So I just show it today.
The Nomad's march didn't slow down. On June 25th, Shavkat Rakhmonov shared the octagon with Neil Magny.
Yeah, I believe I deserve more attention. God's willing, I'm the future UFC champion. Time will show it.
Stability is one of the signs of true mastery. Rakhmonov calmly and confidently finished the veteran with yet another guillotine and climbed even higher up the rankings.
Still yet to go to a 3rd round in the octagon.
Dana White, remember my name. I am future champion. 1-2 years, I am UFC champion, inshallah.
We're very happy to make my country proud, to make all my countrymates happy. You know, I beat the top 10 guy. Step by step, we're gonna get the title.
In March 2023, the UFC gave Shavkat a new kind of test. Jeff Neal, one of the toughest, most durable gatekeepers in the division. Beating him would mean a lot in the bigger picture.
What Shavkat say?
Yeah, oh, you saw me apologize though?
Yeah.
I had to say something.
That's good though. Yeah, that's the right thing.
They put on an absolutely incredible war worthy of the highest praise. Even the greatest warriors of the Colosseum didn't always produce battles like this. And yet, even in this kill or be killed scenario, it was Rakhmonov who emerged victorious, submitting Neal with a rear naked choke late in the 3rd round.
He's on it.
You know, he fought many tough opponents and no one finished him. I was able to do it. I don't know, it's gonna be UFC's decision, but I'm ready for the title shot, and if it's gonna be in Abu Dhabi, it's gonna be beautiful.
The UFC still didn't rush to give him a title shot, which, honestly, is strange. 17 finishes, 0 losses, 5 low in the UFC, 2 local titles on his record. What else does Shavkat Rakhmonov need to prove to finally earn what he deserves? Matchmakers answered that question by booking him against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson at UFC 296.
Yeah, I believe I'm very close to the title shot. I just need to win.
Was Shavkat right in his expectations? Not entirely. Yes, he beat Wonderboy. Yes, he finished him again inside the distance. But he didn't receive a title shot, or even a clear verbal guarantee.
I believe I have to fight for the title next. I don't know who's my next opponent will be, but I'm ready for anyone.
I think there is a comparison. All my fights so far have ended inside the distance. There is no one like that in the UFC. There is no one in the world who finishes absolutely everyone. I think I deserve it, and I think I'll show my real abilities in a title fight. They won't be wrong about me. Shavkat Rakhmonov's most recent fight took place against Ian Gary at UFC 310 in December 2024. For the first time in his career, Nomad went the distance and won a unanimous decision, but he balanced that out by handing the Irishman his first loss ever, and once again, cemented his legitimacy among the top contenders.
It was hard. Ian Gary is not an easy opponent, you know, but it was good for me to feel the full distance before the title fight, so I believe it was a good experience for me, and today I showed what I can do, but in a title fight it's going to be better.
So, what picture do we have around Shavkat Rakhmonov today? Honestly, not the most pleasant one. He's been sitting out for a full year due to injuries. All this time has gone into healing his body. On top of that, some family issues didn't allow Nomad to fully focus and come back with the right mindset. Meanwhile, the division has changed a lot. Islam Makhachev is here now. Several hungry wolves are already circling the belt. Michael Morales, Carlos Prates, Ian Gary, Kamaru Usman and others. Our guess is that the UFC will first give Shavkat a comeback fight, one more chance to prove he belongs at the very top, before finally rewarding him with what he's been chasing. The step breeds strong men, but only a few become legends, and this Nomad has already carved his name into the history of the sport. His journey isn't over, and the whole world is holding its breath, waiting to see what chapter this great, undefeated warrior will write next. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our other content. And of course, drop your thoughts in the comments below. See you soon.